Aloha from Lake Atitlan, Guatemala. My name is Tracy, and I am going to be offering a yin yoga practice for all levels. I am sharing this practice from Casa Curativa here in Guatemala. And this is a community platform with animals and neighbors who might end up joining in this practice. It will be helpful to have a blanket or a rolled up towel. I am making do with what I have here. So go ahead and grab these props and we'll get started shortly. When you're ready, if you're not already in a comfortable seat, meet me in Sukhasana, which is easy sitting pose. And if it is easier for you to sit on top of a blanket or a towel, you're welcome to do so. And it's advisable if you have a tight or a rounded low back. And we'll begin with some centering breaths. Your hands can land wherever they rest comfortably. And I'll invite you to either close your eyes or let your eyelids grow heavy, looking down at the earth. Let's meet in 3 deep breaths. If you can, inhale through your nose with an audible exhale. Twice more, just like this. Inhale. Audible exhale. One more time. And gather your energy into this present moment, from the past, from the future, aligning yourself with your energy in the present moment. And check in with your body and your energy, with how you're feeling now. How is your body feeling? What is your energy like? What did your breath feel like? Just tuning in to become aware before we move into the asana practice. And when you're ready, gently blink open your eyes. And we'll be starting out in a child's pose twist. So what that looks like is you'll start out in a tabletop position. Your hands will be underneath your shoulders, your knees will be underneath your hips. And then you'll widen your knees to the sides of your mat. Your big toes will come to touch and your hips are going to come down toward your heels. If your hips don't come all the way down toward your heels and they're up a little bit, that's okay. First, we're going to take the left hand over to the right side. So we're going to thread our left arm underneath our torso over to the right. You're going to let the left side of your head just rest on the earth. And your right hand can either reach up toward the top of your mat. You can bind your right elbow behind your back. Or you could let your arm just rest along the side of your body, wherever it lands easily. You'll want to make a choice that works well for your body, where you're not feeling like you're struggling, especially if your arm's reaching up overhead. You want to make a choice where you can soften. Once you've found the outer form of your pose, the first pillar of yin is to make sure that you are at a safe edge of sensation. So making sure that you're never in any pain, as well as making sure that your body isn't experiencing strong numbness or tingling. If it is, you'll just want to back out of the pose. And one option to take that's a universal option and more neutral is Child's Pose, which is just with your head down like this. The second pillar of Yin is once you've found your way into the outer form of the shape and you're not in any pain, numbness, or tingling, you want to then commit to stillness. Take a deep breath in and a deeper breath out. Here in this practice, we'll be bringing some particular attention to areas of the body that relate to our digestive system. You'll take a deep breath to the outside of your left shoulder and a deeper exhale. Notice where else you can soften. Feel or sense your shoulder joints, your elbow joints, your hands, your wrists, your fingers, all softening. Your hips, your inner thighs. Surrender into gravity. Deep breath in. And a deeper breath out. We'll be here for just one more deep breath in. And an exhale to let it go. To transition out of this side, you'll take your right hand underneath your shoulder and see if you can practice keeping your head heavy. As you use the strength of your arms to come up, you'll unwind your left arm and plant it down to the earth. And we'll move over to the second side. So this time your right arm is going to thread underneath you over to the left, and you'll just rest your head on the earth. And again, you can reach your left arm up overhead and get a little bit more of a side stretch through the outer shoulder. Binding behind your back here brings a little bit more of an opener to the front of your shoulder. And if neither option is workable for your body, just let your left arm rest wherever it feels comfortable. And as you soften into the outer form of this shape, take a deep breath in and a deeper breath out. Yin Yoga gives us an opportunity to enter into deeper states of relaxation, and deeper states of spaciousness, both in body and mind. This is a powerful practice to explore prior to meditation because of its effects on the body and mind. Continue to weave a rhythmic breath in and follow through with a full, thorough exhale. Notice where else can you soften in this moment. Check in with your neck, your hips, your shoulders. We'll take one more deep breath in here. And a deeper breath out. To transition out of this shape, slowly begin to bring your left hand underneath your left shoulder. And again, practice keeping your head heavy if you can, pressing your left hand into the earth and coming into a tabletop position. We'll do a counter pose here just to help stabilize the shoulder joint. So your hips will come off of your heels, coming into a tabletop position. So your knees will be underneath your hips, your hands under your shoulders. And we'll do a simple traditional cat-cow, which is also helpful to open up the stream of energy through your spine. On an inhale, lift your heart and your sitting bones, and maybe your gaze looks up too. And as you exhale, imagine pushing the earth away and drawing your navel toward your spine, your chin to your chest. Release all of your breath. Inhale, lifting your sitting bones and your heart. Exhale to round in. Twice more, just like this. Inhale to lift. And exhale to curl in. One more, inhale. And exhale. Good. Go ahead and take a moment to look up at the screen, and I'll demonstrate where we're headed next. We're going to be opening up the front of the shoulder as a counter pose to that first stretch where we opened up the outside of the shoulder. We're going to come down onto our abdomen for this. And again, go ahead and stay upright so that you can see where we're headed first. And then I'll walk you through the pose again. So for this one, there's a couple of different options that you can explore here. The first one that I'm going to invite you into is taking your right arm into a cactus arm, which means your right elbow is going to be bent, your fingertips pointing towards the top of your mat. Your left hand will kickstand off to the side, and you'll roll over to your right side, and your top leg, which will be your left leg, will step right behind you, just like this. To see this from another angle, I'm doing the same thing with the opposite arm, just so that you can see this from a different angle. So this is one option. If that is too much of sensation on the front of your chest, the other option is to straighten your elbow and come onto your side like this. So let's go ahead and meet together on our abdomen, and we'll come into this pose again together. So whatever option you're exploring, I'm going to go ahead and cue with my elbow bent. You're welcome to straighten your elbow if that's more supportive for your body. You want to make a choice that's keeping in mind any shoulder injuries and just the sensation that your body is presenting in the pose. If there's too much of sensation, this will either set you up for potential injury or activate your nervous system in a way that is counterproductive to what we're aiming for. So you'll kickstand your left fingertips and roll over to the right side. Now, if stepping your top leg back behind you is too much sensation, you can bring your knees together in a fetal position and maybe even bring a blanket or a pillow between your knees. So just take a moment to find your way into the outer form of this pose, making sure you're not in any pain, making sure there's not numbness or tingling. And as you settle into the shape, you're going to take a deep breath in and a deeper breath out. And take a moment to notice, where can you soften here in this shape? One place to look that's often activated is your glutes. So see if you might be able to make any subtle changes in your body to calm down any holding or gripping in this space. Deep breath in. And a deeper breath out. Continue to weave a rhythmic breath here in this shape as you soften your whole body down to the earth. As you soften muscle activation and contraction, this allows for the connective tissues that wrap around these areas of the body, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, your bones, your organs. This helps to open up the connective tissue of your body called fascia, which is the most pervasive tissue in the body, meaning that it's everywhere. Deep breath in, and a deeper breath out. As you start to get more into this system of your body, it helps to distribute energy throughout your entire body. You continue to soften to help support the flow of your energy. Deep breath in. And a deeper breath out. We'll explore one more deep breath on this side. Inhale. And exhale to let it go. Good. To transition out of this shape, move slowly. So you start to roll down toward your stomach, away from the stretch. And we'll do a little counter pose here in Sphinx Pose. So your elbows are going to be underneath your shoulders, your fingertips point towards the top of your mat. And with a gentle activation of your elbows down into the earth, you're also going to drag them toward your lower ribs. Maybe wiggle your tailbone to soften the base of your spine. And feel or sense your spine nice and long. Inhale all the way from the crown of your head down toward the base of your tailbone. And as you exhale, collect any pathogenic debris, clearing it out from the base of your tailbone through the whole pathway of your spine, releasing back out through the crown of your head. Good. We'll come down to the second side here. So again, you're welcome to bend your elbow with your fingertips pointing towards the top of your mat, or you can straighten your elbow. You'll begin to roll over onto your right side. You'll roll over onto your left side. And your top leg, which will be your right leg, will either bend and stack behind your body like this. You're also welcome to explore any intuitive position that will allow you to be here without a struggle. So I'm exploring something a little different on this side, just tuning into my body and letting my body sort of guide the pose based on how it feels. So again, you want to use as little muscular effort as necessary so that you can get into more of the connective tissues of your body, which help to distribute the energy through the Jing channels, which is the fascial channels, the meridian channels. Deep breath in. And a deeper breath out. Spend some time being in the space of where the most sensation is being felt. So bring your awareness to the space and notice if you can soften all around this space. Deep breath in. And a deeper breath out. Just giving yourself an opportunity to spend some quality time in this particular corner of your body to help unwind from any coming forward in the body. So often when we're sitting a lot, when we're on our devices, our arms are usually forward, our head's a little forward, our shoulders are a little rolled in, and so there can be a little bit more of a collapsing in this area of the body. And as you breathe through this space, this opens up the lung channel, helping to provide greater vitality through not just this meridian, but also the function of the lungs themselves. Deep breath in. And a deeper breath out. We'll stay here for just one more deep breath in. And exhale to let it go. To transition out of this shape, begin to roll toward the earth on your belly, so you're rolling away from the stretch. Your legs can extend long. And we'll take the same counter pose of Sphinx Pose. So your elbows will be underneath your shoulders, your fingertips point towards the top of your mat. Maybe wiggle your hips side to side so you can soften through your tailbone, and very gently press your elbows down into the earth and then drag them toward your lower ribs. If your chin is jutting forward, draw your chin back slightly so that the back of your neck can stay open. Take a deep breath in here. And an audible exhale to let it go. Good. Go ahead and begin to soften down to the earth and slide your hands underneath your shoulders. And using as little effort as necessary, we'll come to a seat. So we'll come upright, and we're going to move into our next shape, which is called Shoelace. For this pose, it may be helpful to sit on your pillow for a little bit of added leverage here. And I'll mirror you for this pose. So my body is going to be opposite, but that's just to give you a hopefully better support visually. So you're going to bend your right knee and draw your right heel toward your hips. Now here you're going to aim to cross your left foot over your right knee like this. If for any reason this is not available for your body today, that's okay. You can bring your foot in front of your left knee like this, your right knee like this. You may want to have your towel handy as well. It might be a supportive prop. So let me go ahead and show you the fuller version of this pose, and then I'll continue to offer some modifications. So from here, you might find that you're actually already feeling quite a bit of a stretch in your hips. If that's the case, go ahead and stay here. If you have more room to explore, you can start to walk your left heel over to the left and your right heel over to the right. So my feet are starting to expand out to the periphery. And you're aiming to stack your knees on top of one another, something like this. So this is the deeper version of Shoelace. And what you want to check in for is if you feel like you've gone to your max, so you can't possibly go any further into the stretch, maybe try backing out a little bit. One way to reduce some of the sensation is to bring your heels in closer to your body versus more parallel like this. So you can bring your heels in a little bit closer. If you're feeling a lot of sensation here, go ahead and stay here. This will be your pose where we'll spend some time. If you have more room to explore, you can start to come forward into a little bit of a deeper version of the shape. So you can ground your hands in front of you like this. I like to use my hands as kickstands, or think of them as tent poles. So you'll start to let your head relax into gravity as your chin comes toward your chest, any amount. And you want to think of surrendering into gravity. So this might take a little bit of time to feel into your body and notice if you're holding or gripping anywhere. I'm going to back out of the pose and show you some other options should you need them if your body is needing a little bit of different support. So if your legs are not crossed and you're here, you are welcome to still come into a forward fold like this. Another option is you can take your prop and bring it underneath your thigh, or kind of play with where it might support you best here. Even if you're here, you might find a prop between your knees like this could be really helpful. If you have the availability to stack your knees, this is an option. And if you're coming forward, you might find too that bringing your head on your pillow could be supportive, your pillow or towel, whatever you're using. And if you're not quite that deep, then just let yourself sink into gravity. Gravity is actually a support, particularly in the back of the neck here in this pose, if you're not resting your head on anything, because it helps to create traction through the cervical spine. Now check in and notice, where else can you soften? Notice if your inner thighs are gripping, if your belly is gripping, your shoulders and hands are overworking. How might you be able to soften? Just spend a few moments exploring how you can be here in a more yin way, soft and receptive. Deep breath in, and a deeper breath out. This practice gives an opportunity to practice patience with your body, as it might need some extra time to relax in gravity and relax into these particular shapes. So just know that it's a process, and see if you can just bear witness to how your body might adjust throughout any of these shapes to be here in a way that's fruitful and supportive. Deep breath in, and a deeper breath out. And continue to weave your rhythmic breath for the next number of moments. Continue to look for where you can soften even more as you continue to weave your rhythmic breath. Let's explore just one more deep breath here in this shape. Full deep breath in. And a deeper breath out. To transition out of this shape, if you're in any version of the forward fold, slowly start to walk your hands back to your body and see if you can keep your head heavy with your chin to your chest. And once your torso is underneath you, then let your head come up. Bring your hands behind you and very slowly begin to lift your knees and unwind the cross between your legs, and we'll come into a counter pose. That's another yin shape. This is one of my favorites, and it's called Dragonfly. So this is getting into the inner thighs, and you'll want to widen your feet just the right amount. You might already be feeling a little sensation in your inner thighs here. You want to give a little bit of space to go deeper. So if you're already feeling that you're at your max, go ahead and come out of it a little bit. If you're feeling like this is enough of a stretch for you, you're going to stay upright for this pose. For some of you, you might be able to explore a little bit more sensation in coming forward. So this will look similar to our last shape, with your arms coming out into tent poles. So you can widen your arms and let your hands root down to the earth. As you slowly start to sink forward any amount. Some of you might have enough space to come all the way on your forearms. So you just want to check in and notice what your range is. It might also depend on what time of day that you're practicing in terms of how open your body is. So take that into account as you explore what your range is. The more forward your heart is, so the more your heart reaches up toward the crown of your head, the more of a sensation you're going to feel in your inner thighs. So you can explore reaching forward and then softening down just to find that right depth. And once you do, begin to commit to stillness. If you're in Dragonfly, you want to check in with your kneecaps. Notice if they're gripping or lifted so that you can begin to soften your quads. Check in with your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. Take a deep breath in and a deeper breath out. Continue to weave a rhythmic breath. As you explore where you can soften even more. Notice if the sensation in your body is beginning to shift. You might notice that your body is drawing you into a deeper version of this shape. And you might also notice the sensation increasing. Whatever your experience is, continue to weave a rhythmic breath and see if you can stay soft, just observing your body as it changes and unwinds deeper tensions that allow for the free-flowing energy throughout your meridian system. Deep breath in, and a deeper breath out. Let's explore just one more deep breath in this shape. Inhale fully, and exhale fully. To transition out of this shape, you'll walk your hands back toward your body, aiming to keep your head heavy. And as you come upright, then let your head come up. And from here, we'll move to the second side of Shoelace. First, you can lean back on your hands and start to draw your heels in a little bit closer. And it might even be helpful to do a couple of ankle rolls here. See if you can keep your heart lifted and go in the opposite direction. Good. And then we'll start to move into the second side of Shoelace. So here you're going to bend your left knee and bring your left heel close to your hip. And then you can explore crossing your right foot over your left thigh like this. So you might be in this version of the shape. You might be with your foot in front of your knee like this. In whatever version, you can use your props in whatever way can help you to be here without a struggle. So I'm just sort of demonstrating some different options here that you can play with. For those of you who have space to explore a little more sensation, you'll start to aim to stack your knees on top of one another. You might even find that you can bring your shins a little bit more parallel to the side of your mat like this. The more your heels are closer to your hips, the less of a sensation you'll feel. So you'll use that as a lever to explore what depth is right for your hips. And for some of you, you might find that you're already at your edge. And if that's the case, I'm going to invite you to explore the shape here. For those of you who have more room to explore, you can come into the forward fold that looks like this. Your hands will come forward. I like to keep them wide so that they feel like a stable base. And again, you can reach your heart forward, and this is going to bring you into your edge of sensation. Once you find your edge, then you can start to soften down by curling your head down, your chin toward your chest, and just softening into gravity here. And feel free to fidget around here a bit before you commit to stillness so that you make sure you're at the right edge and in the right shape for your body in this moment. And then once you feel that you found that safe edge, that right sensation, it's not too much, it's not too little, then go ahead to begin to soften and commit to stillness. Weaving in a rhythmic breath. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And check in and notice where you can begin to soften even more. Just patiently allowing your body to explore how it might be able to surrender into gravity even more. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. And continue to weave your rhythmic breath for the next number of moments. Continue to observe if you can soften even more, particularly in your jaw, around your inner thighs, your shoulders, your neck. Weaving your rhythmic breath. Let's explore just one more deep breath on this side. Inhale fully. And exhale to release. We'll transition out of this shape by walking our hands back toward our body. Keep your chin to your chest. And then you'll roll your head up. To transition out fully, you'll lean back on your hands and extend your legs out in front of you. You might want to find a little bit of a part between your legs, not a full dragonfly, but just a little bit of width. And take your palms together and rub them vigorously like this, just creating your own energy and your own healing cells to then run up and down the tops of your thighs here along the stomach meridian. Just clearing the pathway here, getting nice energy flow. Good. We'll take a moment here while we're sitting upright. You can find any version of a seat that feels good for you, and we'll just take a moment to stretch out into the neck. So you'll ground your right hand off to the side of your hip and then let your right ear start to sink toward your right shoulder. Now take your left hand out to the side with your palms facing up, or your palm facing out. And imagine that you're reaching out through the base of your palm as your fingers start to curl toward your head any amount. And take a deep breath into this space. Feel your shoulder blade glide down your back, full inhale. And find a little bit more space on the exhale. Good. Soften your left hand down and now draw your chin to your chest and come up through the midline. We'll do that same stretch on the opposite side. So you'll ground your left fingertips to the left side of your hip. And start with dropping your left ear toward your left shoulder. You'll extend your right arm out to the side. Imagine that you're curling your right fingertips toward your head as you're pressing out through the base of your palm. Soften your right shoulder blade down your back. Deep breath in. And a deeper breath out. Draw your chin toward your chest. Soften your right hand down. And then let your head rise up through the midline. It's a really great way to open up the fascia through the forearm, through the wrist, which are areas that often get really congested, especially using like the tedious movements from using devices. So we're going to shift from our seat down to the earth, coming onto your back. And here you might find having your pillow or a rolled towel off to the right side of your mat to be helpful. We'll just come down to the earth. And from here, you'll cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh. Do a little bit of an outer hip stretch. Take your hands and clasp them either behind your right thigh. You might even find that you can reach the top of your right shin. So just make a choice that feels easy. And if you notice that your shoulders are rolling forward, see if you can soften them back down to the earth. Maybe that involves shifting your hands a little bit. You can find a version of this shape that feels really good for your body. Maybe even releasing your left hand to the outside of your left knee. Deep breath in. And a deeper breath out. Notice if the back of your neck is curled, if your chin is pointing up toward the sky, and see if you can lengthen the back of your neck a little bit more here so that the full length of your spine is resting on the earth. And continue to weave a rhythmic breath here the next number of moments in the shape. We'll take just one more deep breath here on this side. Hi. No, but it's okay. We'll take one more deep breath on this side. Inhale. And exhale. Go ahead and soften your right foot down to the earth, and now open your palms toward the sky. So your arms will slide away from the sides of your body. We'll begin to come into a twist here. So you can pick your hips up and slide them over to the right, and then draw your left knee over to the right. This is where your towel might come in handy. So your legs are still crossed here, but if that doesn't feel quite right for your body, you can straighten your bottom knee as well and come into a more traditional supine twist if that feels better for you. We'll take a deep breath in. And a deeper breath out. And stay here for the next number of moments as your body unwinds, weaving a rhythmic breath, softening your body down to the earth. Receive the medicine of your practice. Continue to weave a rhythmic breath as you soften even more into deeper states of relaxation. We'll take one more deep breath here on the side. And stay here for the exhale. To transition out of this side, you'll roll onto your back and then bend both of your knees with your feet on the earth to slide your hips back underneath you. We'll do a little support for your hips here after those twists. Sometimes it can be nice to mobilize and balance out your low back. So let your feet hover off of the ground with your kneecaps pointing toward the sky. Soften your shoulders down and just rock side to side with your hands on your kneecaps. Bringing your awareness to the base of your spine and your sacrum as it softens down to the earth. A little massage. Deep breath in. And a deeper breath out. You'll bring both of your feet back down to the earth, and we'll do that same little mini sequence on the second side. So your right ankle is going to cross over the top of your left thigh here. And you'll bring your hands to clasp either behind your left thigh. You might even find that clasping them on your shin, just below your left kneecap, is a nice option. You can also brace underneath your kneecap, or support rather, and then wrap your right arm around your right knee if that feels like it might free up your shoulders a little bit more. So we're coming into a little bit of an outer hip stretch here. I'm going to soften the back of your neck. Notice if there's anywhere else you can soften even more as you invite a rhythmic breath into the shape for the next number of moments. Continue to breathe deeply. Your exhale is the pathway to release. So any tension that you're discovering in this shape, just imagine that your exhale is starting to slowly dissolve and diffuse that tension. So being patient and soft and consistent with your breath. Let's take just one more deep breath on this side. Inhale. And exhale. Begin to release your left foot down to the earth, unwinding your arms out to the sides. And either keep your right ankle across your right thigh, Or you can unwind your right ankle back down to meet your left. I'm going to cue it with my ankle on my thigh. So you'll lift your hips up and draw your hips over to the right, and then your right knee will come over to the left. Here you can tuck any of your props underneath your right knee if that feels good for your body. This is a bit of a modified version of traditional supine twist. If the more traditional version would feel better in your body, you can straighten your left leg. And I'm demonstrating here on my mat that version. Or you can stay in the figure 4 version. So choose an option that's suitable for your body in this moment. And we'll be here inviting a rhythmic breath for the next number of moments. Continue to soften your body, receive the medicine of your practice. We'll take one more deep, full breath in. And a deeper exhale. To transition out of this side, you can uncross your ankle and then draw your hips back to the earth, rolling onto your back, your hips underneath you, coming back to center. Widen your feet to the sides of the mat and then let your arms reach up overhead like they're resting on the earth as soft parentheses. And take a deep breath in here. And on your exhale, windshield wiper your both knees over to the right side. And take a deep breath through the left side of your body. And an exhale to release. Inhale your knees back to center. And then exhale, drop your knees over to the left. A deep breath through the right side of your body. Inhale. And exhale to release. And draw your knees back to center. And for our last and final shape, we'll be here for just a short moment. Move into full moon pose, also known as happy baby. So the soles of your feet are going to point up toward the sky, and your hands will come either to your shins, maybe even find the outside or inside of your feet. And you're welcome to bring in any movement that might feel good for your body or not. As you allow your body to just integrate in this final pose before we move into our resting pose of Shavasana. So getting out any wiggles. allowing yourself to feel complete. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Go ahead and release your feet or your shins. Let your feet come back down to the earth. And we'll move into our final pose of Shavasana. Here you can bring your blanket roll, your pillow underneath your knees. Just make any little adjustments that might help to support you being here in a way that you can fully rest and relax. You're welcome to bring any blanket over your body if you're feeling chilled, or any other props that you know you love that will support you being here with as little stimulus, as little distraction as possible. And once you find your way down to the earth and you have all of your support, then begin to mindfully soften each part of your body, starting with your feet. Soften your toes, your ankles, your shins, your kneecaps, your thighs. Soften your hips, your whole pelvic floor down to the earth. Releasing your spine. Soften through your belly, your shoulders, your arms, elbows, forearms, your wrists, and hands and fingers. Feel your neck completely relax down on the earth as your lower jaw decompresses away from your upper jaw. Feel or sense your eyebrows softening, your forehead relaxing, your whole body relaxing down to the earth. As you commit to stillness and silence, releasing all effort, even in breath, as you integrate the medicine of your practice in your Shavasana.